Today, inshallah ta'ala, we will discuss that how to distribute the estate of a deceased man among his widow, father and mother. So let's suppose that this deceased person left an estate of rupees 21 lakh rupees. First of all, we will pay the funeral and burial expenses. Let's suppose that the funeral and burial expenses amounted to rupees 1 lakh rupees. After the payment of funeral and burial expenses, we have to pay the debts and execute the wills. But we will suppose that this deceased person had no debts, nor he made any will in favor of any person. So now we will directly distribute the remaining estate of 20 lakh rupees, which is left after the payment of funeral and burial expenses. We will distribute this estate of 20 lakh rupees among the widow, the father and the mother of this deceased person. But if you want to learn about the matters relating to the payment of debts and execution of wills, then you can watch my first two lectures, and in those two lectures I have explained all the necessary and essential points relating to the payment of debts and execution of wills. So now we have to distribute the estate of 20 lakh rupees among the widow and the father and the mother of this deceased person. First of all, we will calculate the share of the widow. In chapter number 4, Surah An-Nisa, verse number 12, Allah Almighty says, وَلَهُنَّ رَبُّهُ مِمَّا تَرَكْتُمْ إِلَّمْ يَكُنْ لَكُمْ وَلَدٌ. And for your wives is 1/4 out of what you have left if there is not any child for you. فَإِنْ كَانَ لَكُمْ وَلَدٌ فَلَهُنَّ الثُّمُونُ. Then if there is any child for you, then for the widow is 1/8. So in the light of this verse of the Holy Quran, we give to the widow 1/4 if there is not any child for the deceased man, and we give to the widow 1/8 if there is any child for a deceased man. So this deceased person does not have any child, therefore the widow of this deceased man will get a portion of 1/4. So the 1/4 of 20 lakh rupees is equivalent to 5 lakh rupees. So we will allot 5 lakh rupees, we will give 5 lakh rupees to the widow of this deceased person as her share. Now we have calculated the share of the widow, and now after the calculation of the share of the widow, we will distribute the remaining 15 lakh among the father and the mother of this deceased person. And it is very, very essential and important to understand the distribution between the father and the mother, because I have seen some learned scholars making a big mistake while distributing the estate between the father and the mother. Allah Almighty has revealed 5 points in verse number 11, verse number 12 and verse number 176 of Surah An-Nisa, chapter number 4. And if we understand these 5 points revealed by Allah Almighty, then inshallah ta'ala we will not make any mistake while distributing the estate between the father and the mother of a deceased person. So now inshallah ta'ala I will discuss these 5 points with you so that you can properly understand the method of calculation of distribution of estate of a deceased person among his father and his mother. Point number 1. In chapter number 4, Surah An-Nisa, verse number 11, Allah Almighty says, لِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. Then for men there is similar portion of 2 females. And the same point has been revealed by Allah Almighty in chapter number 4, Surah An-Nisa, verse number 176. In verse number 176, Allah Almighty says, فَلِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. Then for men there is similar portion of two females. मर्दों के लिए हिस्सा है दो औरतों के बराबर. Allah Almighty has revealed this principle in two verses of the Holy Quran, verse number 11 and verse number 176 of chapter number 4, Surah An-Nisa. So for men there is similar portion of two females. This is point number 1. We have to remember this point, then inshallah ta'ala we will not make any mistake while distributing the estate between the father and the mother of a deceased person. So now inshallah ta'ala I am gonna discuss point number 2. In verse number 11, chapter number 4, Surah An-Nisa, Allah Almighty says, وَلِآبَوَيْهِ لِكُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْهُمَ السُّدُسُ مِمَّا تَرَكَ إِنْ كَانَ لَهُ وَلَدٌ. And for your parents, for each one of them is 1/6 out of what you have left, if there is any child for you. So if there is any child for the deceased person, then the father and the mother of that deceased person will get 1/6 and 1/6. Father will get separately a share of 1/6 and the mother will separately get a share of 1/6. This was point number 2. Now we'll discuss point number 3. In chapter number 4, Surah An-Nisa, verse number 11, Allah Almighty says, فَإِنْ كَانَ لَهُ إِخْوَاتٌ فَلِأُمِّهِ السُّدُسُ فَإِنْ كَانَ lahu ikhwatun fali ummi sudus. So then if there are siblings, then for the mother is 1/6. So if there are siblings for the deceased person, then the mother of that deceased person will get 1/6. So in the presence of children, the mother will get 1/6 and the mother will get 1/6 in the presence of siblings. If a deceased person does not have any child, but he has siblings, even then the mother of that deceased person will get 1/6, because Allah Almighty has said, فَإِنْ كَانَ لَهُ إِخْوَاتٌ فَلِأُمِّهِ السُّدُسُ. Then if there are siblings, then for the mother is 1/6. This was point number 3. Point number 4. In chapter number 4, Surah An-Nisa, verse number 11, Allah Almighty says, فَإِلَّمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ وَلَدٌ وَوَرِثَهُ أَبَوَاهُ فَلِأُمِّهِ الثُّلُثُ. Then if there is not any child for you and you are inherited by the parents, then for the mother is 1/3. This is point number 4. That if there is not any child for you and you are inherited by the parents, then for the mother is 1/3. Point number 5. Allah Almighty has used 4 words in these 3 verses relating to the Islamic law of inheritance. Ma taraka, mimma taraka, mimma taraktum, mimma tarakna. But after sulusu, Allah Almighty did not use ma taraka or mimma taraka. You can, if you are not understanding the difference between difference of not using ma taraka or mimma taraka after sulusu, then you should read verse number 11, verse number 12 and verse number 176 of chapter number 4, Surah An-Nisa. If you read these verses for a few times, then inshallah ta'ala you will understand that where Allah Almighty has used these 4 words and where Allah Almighty has not used any of these words. So after sulusu, Allah Almighty did not use ma taraka or mimma taraka. So we have to allot to the mother 1/3, but not out of the total wealth left by the deceased person. We have to allot to the mother 1/3. but not out of the total wealth left by the deceased person. So now we have to apply point number 1 and point number 4. فَلِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ in verse number 11, and point number 1 from verse number 176. فَلِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. Then for men there is similar portion of 2 females. And point number 4. فَإِن لَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ وَلَدٌ وَوَرِثَهُ أَبَوَاهُ فَلِأُمِّهِ الثُّلُثُ. Then if there is not any child for the deceased person, then and the deceased person is inherited by the parents, then for the mother is 1/3. So we have to apply point number 1 and point number 4 to calculate the distribution among the father and mother. So remember point number 1, for men there is similar portion of 2 females. The father will get twice the share of the mother. In these 2 verses of the Holy Quran, verse number 11, verse number 176, in which Allah Almighty has revealed this principle that men will get a similar portion of 2 females. So the father will get 2 portions and the mother will get 1 portion. We will divide 15 lakh by 3 because we have to give 1/3 to the mother and we have to give twice to the father. We have to give 2/3 to the father. We have to give 1/3 to the mother because Allah Almighty says in verse number 11, chapter number 4, Surah An-Nisa, فَإِلَّمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ وَلَدٌ وَوَرِثَهُ أَبَوَاهُ فَلِأُمِّهِ الثُّلُثُ. So therefore, in the light of this verse, we have to give 1/3 to the mother, and 1/3 of 15 lakh is 5 lakh rupees, and we have to give twice to the father. We have to give 2/3 to the father in the light of point number 1 which I have discussed earlier, and point number 1 is based on 2 verses of the Holy Quran. Chapter number 4, Surah An-Nisa, verse number 11, in which Allah Almighty says, لِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. For men there is similar portion of 2 females. And verse number 176 of chapter number 4, Surah An-Nisa, in which Allah Almighty says, فَلِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. Then for men there is similar portion of 2 females. So in the light of point number 1, these 2 verses of the Holy Quran, we have to give twice to the father. We have to give 10 lakh to the father, and 2/3 of 15 lakh is 10 lakh. So we will give 10 lakh to the father. So it is how we will distribute the estate of a deceased man among his father and mother.